So when you're looking at the result, notice that it's saying it's going to update 856 entries, and there are 2 entries with errors. So this is pretty important. The first error, and you can see it by looking at the status right here, is line number 1. It's telling me that it cannot find a product with an item lookup code called item lookup code. That was actually the header. So I had mentioned that you could start the import after line 1 if you wanted, but if we don't, it's no big deal. This is an error, which means it'll skip it. So it really doesn't cause any harm. Line number 3 is another error. This is a little bit more significant. This is the item where I purposely changed the item lookup code and added a 2 at the end. So the system's saying you counted 2 of whatever this item is, but I can't find it. And if we import this, it's just going to skip this line. So these are pretty important things to get resolved, because this means you counted 2 of something that is not going to get imported. I did it on purpose, obviously. So we'll just go ahead and import. Another thing that's important is you want to make sure that the count date has nothing in it. This should be completely empty. You do not want any dates in here. What it represents is the date time that you counted the product. If you have a handheld inventory scanner or something like that, sometimes they generate this data. For the purposes of what we're doing, we want this to be empty. So I'll click import. Alright, and you can see that it has brought in the quantity counted for all of the items. Anything that wasn't in the list will still have a quantity counted of 0, which is good. That's what we want. Once I get this imported, I click OK just to save it one more time. I'll reopen it here and we'll kind of continue. So next thing that we do is we click calculate. Okay, so this is telling me it's going to show me everything with discrepancies. I'll click OK to that. And this might take a minute because it's doing a comparison here. Alright, so I just randomly created counted and the counted number, so everything is basically going to be a discrepancy. But here you can see how many you counted, how many the system expected, and what the difference is. Okay, so I counted 6, the system expected -1, there's a discrepancy of 7. Red means you have a negative discrepancy. I counted 6, the system thought I should have 132. Now at this point we have one of 2 options. One is you can either recount it, at which point it'll send us back to this screen and we can correct anything we want to correct before committing it, or 2 is that you can commit it, and if I commit it, it's going to update the inventory counts to whatever I counted. I can't change these here. At this point I have to go back to the original count screen to do that. The third option is you can print a report, and outside of this report there's actually a handful of reports that can show you different kind of views on the inventory and the discrepancies and the value, etc. You can print, you can recount, or you can commit, and once you commit, it's giving us this kind of classic warning saying you can't undo this. Once you commit, you're done. So once I say yes, it's going to update. Notice it closed the inventory. Now that it's closed, it cannot be adjusted. And if I search for products here, my quantities are all up to date. And if I run reports, for example, my value list report, this is going to be representative of what I counted. And that's it.